Our research into the nature of current photographic experimentations clearly brought us face to face to an expanded range of contemporary photography. On one hand, sharply focused images from highly technical equipment. On the other hand, imperfect, soft-focused, blurry, and highly interpretive images obtained by junk cameras. In the border of these two extremes, we found the works of Iranian-born photographer and filmmaker Shirin Neshat, which offered highly critical social political commentaries in gender and women in Islam. Through use of extreme control, yet without documentation and categorization. In an interview with Helena Kontova for the July-September 2007 issue for the Flash Art International, in an article titled Modern Nomads, Marina Abramovich notes through ancient primordial imagery, dealing with Iranian issues that are not just Iranian, but from everywhere, anywhere. Neshat's work have kind of a transcendental power. Your spirit is elevated in some way. I don't even understand how. Instead of junk photographer, blurring of the physical, in a sense, Neshat uses a strict, tangible, physical imagery to capture something that is other. On our final day on the Silk Road, my colleague and I rented a boat from 6 to 7 a.m. to take photographs of the sunrise at Kushadasi Harbor. Clear blue sky, glittering sea under the slowly emerging sun was beyond belief. I took several hundred pictures. My initial composed photography efforts of the beginning of this trip had fast given way to hundreds of point-and-shoot moments without predetermination, without prior contemplation. For me, a new venue in photography had just opened. The sunrise on the boat held as great of a potential for my colleague. In 1 hour, careful, premeditated documentation of countless treasures of the Silk Road gave way to a new freedom of expression. In February 2007, many of these images set the scene for concrete details of a Silk Road through the eye of my solo exhibit at the Cage Gallery of Miami University, where all my other thousands of photographs pointed to differences in form, structure, skin, or hair color, leaving out what was real about them. From the beginning, for me, the Silk Road had been about connections, not separations. My hope was to bring about what is common to all of us, what touches us deep inside. In the end, I was left with water, only water. As ordinary 30-inch hollow-core wood doors gently leaned at the gallery wall, each image connected close to far, positive to negative, intimate to the infinite. The waxing duality of practice of photography came to a halt, and the otherwise of the Silk Road was left to be encountered through the shimmer of water in the gently leaning boards. In the redefined space of digital images from the Silk Road, politics, history, art, architecture vis-a-vis photography become expanded conversations that transcend the limitations of specific discipline, ethnicity, nationality, or even time and space. As Merleau-Ponty decisively explored the visible and the invisible boundaries between seen and unseen, objective and subjective, nominal and phenomenal, give way in the space of the otherwise, and the connections between the world of the Silk Road as a metaphor and reality and our own become apparent. Silk Road can be viewed as a Western cultural construct, a metaphor, a myth. Yet Silk Road can also be discussed in terms of equipment, like the camera, which we encountered earlier. Silk Road can be said to have disappeared in its usefulness. Silk Road disappeared in usefulness, as did the camera in the ceramic studio, and water on the doors of the concrete details of the Silk Road through the eye of exhibit, as the water below gave way to the luminance of the surface shimmer above, connecting near to far, positive to negative, intimate to the infinite, as well as me and you. Today, the ancient Silk Road remains as the luminous shimmer in the roads of dust. This new definition of the Silk Road dissolves all the boundaries and connects the inside of each country to out. In fact, as did Merleau-Ponty himself, in aiming to redefine the relationship between inside and out, passed away in the process of writing the visible and the invisible. In connecting one side to the other, in facilitating the roads of exchange, in carrying on the cultures, languages, arts, music, people, and products, the Silk Road itself can be said to belong to the space of the otherwise, which merged the visible and the invisible, yet itself disappeared in usefulness. The term photography literally means drawing with light. Photography came to itself when this very act of photography fulfilled its mission in bringing to light the otherwise of the Silk Road in our experience. In this drawing with light, the waxing duality of the practice of photography on the Silk Road dissolved itself, joining the divergent viewpoints. As we witnessed in this space of the otherwise, all documentation and visual representation collapse into artistic interpretation and simply melt in the shimmer of the experiential unfolding. Hence, the Silk Road itself, as any other objectified subject, defied signification, and its own odd way, Silk Road continued to remain as the heritage of all humanity. At this point, I would have answered your questions. Please feel free to email me at ardehaa@ucmail.uc.edu.